In Spain, in the bright city of Barcelona, millions of people stand in awe before the Sagrada Familia, a church so grand, so detailed, so full of light that many say it feels alive. But behind this masterpiece is a quiet, humble man, a man whose fragile body and unshakable faith shaped one of the most breathtaking works of art ever created. This is the story of Antoni Gaudí, the architect who believed his talent was not his own, but a gift from God. Antoni Gaudí was born sick. As a child, he suffered from severe rheumatic fever. Every step hurt. Running was impossible. Playing with friends was rare. Instead, he spent long hours alone, sitting quietly, watching the light move across the fields. But in these lonely hours, God planted something in his heart. He began to observe nature, every curve of a leaf, every line in a seashell, every pattern in a honeycomb. He believed nature was God's handwriting, and he would later say, "Nothing is invented, for God created everything." His painful childhood didn't crush him. It sharpened his eyes. It opened his heart. It prepared him for purpose. When he grew older, Gaudí went to Barcelona to study architecture. But he wasn't a brilliant star of the class. He was unusual, different, hard to understand. Professors worried he was too strange. Classmates mocked his drawings. People whispered, "He's too unpredictable. His ideas will never work." But Gaudí stayed gentle, humble, and steady. He worked late into the night, walking home with only bread and water. He had almost no money, no fame, no success. But he prayed, and he would whisper, "Lord, let my work honor you first. The rest will come in your time." Gaudí's early work began to catch attention, but not because he tried to impress people. It was because his designs felt alive, natural, and full of meaning. Finally, the moment came. A group approached him with a commission, a church, a large one, dedicated to the Holy Family. Most architects rejected the idea. Too complicated, too strange, too impossible. Gaudí asked one question: "Is it for the glory of God?" When they said yes, he took it instantly. And thus began his life's greatest mission, the Sagrada Familia. As the project grew, so did the challenges. Money ran out constantly. Builders quit. Critics attacked him, saying he was insane. Newspapers mocked him publicly. For many years, the construction site looked like nothing, only stones and dust. People laughed, saying, "This church will never be completed." But Gaudí was not building for people. He was building for God. At the hardest moments, he would kneel inside the unfinished church, surrounded by cold stone and echoing silence, and pray, "Lord, this is your temple. Give me strength to continue." And every time, somehow, strength came. As he grew older, Gaudí changed dramatically. He stopped attending parties, stopped caring about fashion, stopped thinking about fame. He lived simply, almost like a monk. He ate little, slept little, owned almost nothing. And every morning he walked to the construction site with one purpose: to bring glory to God through beauty. People began to notice that Gaudí no longer worked like an architect. He worked like a man in worship. His colleagues said he had the joy of someone who truly believed God was guiding his hands. Success didn't protect Gaudí from heartbreak. He loved a woman deeply once, but she did not return his feelings. He faced deep loneliness. He lost close family members. He experienced rejection after rejection. Yet instead of falling into despair, he surrendered more of himself to God. He once said, "My great friend is Jesus." In his loneliness, God became his companionship. In his frustration, God became his peace. In his weakness, God became his strength. In 1926, Gaudí, now old, fragile, and exhausted, was hit by a tram while walking to church. He was taken to a hospital for the poor because people thought he was a beggar. His clothes were worn and pockets were empty. When his identity was discovered, the city was shocked. They rushed to save him. But Gaudí smiled weakly and said, "My time is in God's hands." 3 days later, he passed away. He never saw his life's work complete. Or so it seemed. After Gaudí's death, people expected the Sagrada Familia to stop. But something miraculous happened. Architects from different generations, countries, and backgrounds stepped in. Workers volunteered. New technology made construction faster. Visitors began donating. Today, millions follow Gaudí's dream. The church continues to rise toward heaven, not because Gaudí was great, but because God continued the work through countless hands. It is said that no cathedral in history has been built the way Sagrada Familia is being built. Started by one man, completed by the world, inspired by God. Gaudí's life teaches us this. He was not strong. He was not rich. He was not always understood. He faced rejection, sickness, loneliness, and ridicule. But he offered his small, fragile life to God, and God turned it into something eternal. Gaudí once said, "The closer you are to God, the more original you become." His masterpieces were not only designs, they were prayers made visible. To this day, Sagrada Familia stands as living proof that God can take a broken, ordinary person and shine his glory through them. So whenever you feel small, unseen, or unsure, remember Gaudí. He was just one person, but a person held tightly in God's hands. And that was enough to change the world.